Hello, everyone. This is Michelle Bradford, and you are with the Real Conversation, Real Motivation podcast. And I am doing an early podcast on a Saturday morning just because I wanted to test out my equipment. If you haven't known, I've had some issues in the past with some of my equipment. So I am doing an early podcast to kind of get my live streams in a better quality. I will be posting my podcast instead of doing the live streams until I can get this down packed. So know that on Sunday tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will still be posting my podcast on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and I will also be starting to post it on TikTok as well. And so eventually, when the time comes, I will also be posting on Pandora, Apple Music, as well as Spotify. Hey, Gemma, welcome. You can hear me loud and clear. Yes, you know what? I figured out it was human error is why you could not hear me. So thank you so much for helping me the last time. It's been very helpful. I am here to just uh be back. I'm back. I'm back on YouTube. I do have my YouTube channel, Real Conversation, Real Motivation, or RCRM podcast. So please go over and subscribe to that channel. This is a temporary placement for this podcast. It will not be broadcast over here. I will start back on this channel doing my live streams for holistic recipes and things like that. But I wanted to introduce my podcast over here. So if you could please go over to my podcast, Real Conversation, Real Motivation, on YouTube and subscribe. And once I get to 50 subscribers, I will be exclusively over there doing this podcast. But until then, we will be here on this channel until we can get that channel where I can do live streams. Thank you, love. I hope you're doing well, Jim. I hope everything is going well for you. It's been a very, very long time since I've been on YouTube and actually live. I haven't done a lot of live streaming, even on other platforms. I've just been kind of living my life. Um, hey, Danielle, how you doing? I am so happy to see some of y'all I haven't seen in so long. I know you guys don't see me, but um, I've made some changes in my life. I've lost some weight. I am living in a different place now. I am happy. I've gone through some hell and high water, you guys. I don't know. The last time I went live, I was living with Donna, my friend Donna, who I met on YouTube several years ago. I met her right around the same time I met you and Gemma. Danielle, I don't know if you guys remember Donna Rad, but she was on my channel many years ago. But she passed away. And so when I tell you guys, we lived together for over 3 years. We had a really great friendship. I learned a lot about myself. I was able to help her financially. She was able to help me socially because I did have some social awkwardness because I'd never really lived with anybody. So I was able to work through a lot of things that I had never done before with her. And she became like a sister to me, and unfortunately, February 19th, my life changed. I'm really sad. I miss her every day. Um, but I think that in the time that we had together, we enjoyed each other tremendously. We lived in the moment. We took vacations. We spent time together. We took road trips. We went to the casino together. We were just there for each other. Every Saturday morning we would get up, or afternoon we would get up and sit in the living room and just chat, talk about life, talk about the house, talk about rules, talk about bills. I loved her so much, and I miss her every day. I met her on YouTube just like I met you guys. You have no idea the friendships that I've had that I just hold to my heart. Thank you, guys. That holds to my heart. There were some people, some things that happened to me on YouTube, and you got to take the bad with the good. But when I tell you that she was an amazing friend, um, she had a lot of struggles in her life. She had a lot of sickness. She had a lot of pain and suffering. She didn't have a lot of family. She had a lot of turmoil, but she just was so cool, calm, and collected. And she just was a survivor, and I believe truly God sent me there to live with her. She wasn't the cleanest person in the world, and we would fight all the time about the cleanliness. But what I realized is that when you love somebody, you accept them, their ups and their downs, their ins and their outs, and you don't kick them to the curb just because they're not like you. So the things that I learned in that relationship, that friendship, that kinship, that friendship, that companionship, that was my sister. And I will tell you that people thought that we were in a relationship because there's no way that this 4'11" Caucasian woman and this 5'7" thick, fat black woman could be just friends. And so people assumed that when they saw us, we were the most oddest looking people, together, but we didn't care. We would laugh about it. We would hee and ha ha. We thought it was just funny to me. And so, I am so grateful that I'm able to be here. And I will talk about more about my relationship with Donna at another time. But today, I want to talk about something that happened to me yesterday. And, it brought up a conversation or a topic that I just thought was really funny to me, but at the same time, serious. Sometimes nowadays we meet a lot of people online. We meet, like, we go on dating sites and we meet people. We can swipe left or right, and we don't have to worry about, people, what to say to somebody or how to let them down easy. But, very rarely do you meet people in person anymore, especially me because I work at home. So it's kind of a good thing to work at home, but it's bad because you start having social anxiety. It's hard to like integrate yourself back into society when you're always working from home. And so it's funny because I had a situation with this person that I went to the dealership yesterday to get my car serviced. I went in to get my tires rotated and my oil changed. And it was funny because there was this guy there, and he was there with the young lady that had a baby. And I was inside for a while, but I always sit outside. When the sun is out, I'm outside enjoying the sun. And so I actually was just sitting there minding my own business. I was playing a game on my phone, and this guy came up to me and he was interested. And so in the past, when somebody came up to me and they were interested, or they would say something, "Hey ma'am, how you doing?" Whatever. um I didn't really know how to deal with this, especially when it was somebody that I wasn't interested. Either, I wasn't physically attracted to them, or the way they talked to me, or something that they said. I will tell you, I get a lot more of the kind of situations than I do getting somebody that is like attractive and a good job, and that's educated. I get that sometimes, but I get a lot of that other kind of type of people, street people, I should say. And it's funny because I'm not a street person, but I have street smarts. Believe it or not. And so this person yesterday was of the streets. Okay, let me just say that. He was 29, which was way younger than me, and I'm not interested. So he didn't carry himself in a way that he was mature, 29-year-old. He didn't have nothing going for himself. He walked outside, and I didn't notice this when he first came outside. I just saw him standing against the wall, kind of about 100 feet away from me. And he pulled out something and he started smoking. Well, that's the first number one. I'm not interested in somebody who smokes. Number two, I just was minding my own business. And then he says, "Hey, ma'am, excuse me, excuse me." And I thought he was talking about somebody else. My head was down. Excuse me. And I looked over. He says, "Where are you from?" And I said, "From the United States, from Kansas." "You're not from Africa? You're not from another country?" I said, "No." He said, "You look like it." I said, "Well, that's a compliment. Thank you. But I'm from the United States." So then I'm being nice and, he's trying to have a conversation. But when I tell you that the conversation was weird, it was almost like he was on drugs. And so I was sitting there trying to figure out how can I get this person to go away, because I'm not interested. His pants were hanging low. Like you could see his drawers, like the band of his underwear, which is ew. And he had on socks with slippers, ew. And his face wasn't clean. He looked like he had just got out of the bed and just came to the dealership. And so I'm trying to be nice. And he said something to me. And I said, how old are you? He said to me, how old are you? And I said, no, I said, how old are you? And he said, 29. And I said, oh, yeah, you're about my kid's age. I have a son that's 27 and another son that's 32. He's like, well, age is nothing but a number. I said, that's what all the young ones say. Age is nothing but a number. But I'm not interested in anybody at all. Actually, I'm not interested in dating anybody at the time. I haven't met anybody I'm interested, and I'm not interested in you. And so I didn't say it in that way. I was kinder, but I came here to just talk about this because the old Michelle would have not really known what to do and would have just engaged him. And I engaged him in conversation even after I stood my boundaries and told him I wasn't interested. But I did stick around and I talked to him because I was sitting outside. There's nothing wrong with talking to people. But I let him know within the first 30 to 1 minute of a conversation that I'm not interested in him. The one thing that he did not accept is my answer. He did not appreciate my answer. He was interested in dating, talking, seeing, getting my phone number, my email, my Instagram, something. But in the past, I would avoid that so much. I would feel so awkward and then obligated. And, because I'm engaging this person, what do I do? I would question myself. And sometimes we put ourselves in places where we back ourselves into a corner because we are talking to this person and we are not clear cut in the understanding in our boundaries. And so, I know in every conversation I talk these last few weeks in my life is always about boundaries. And the reason why that is because I never gave people boundaries and I didn't know. I didn't know. It is okay. It is healthy to stand your ground on what you believe in and give boundaries. And so you got those people that have got conditioned to try to wear you down. It's funny, it's all funny because, oh, he really is interested. So he's wearing you down. Well, you know what? After about maybe 5 minutes, he kept trying and he says, well, we were talking about podcasts. And I said, I have a podcast. He said, well, can I have your podcast? I said, no. He said, well, can I have your email? I said, no. Can I have any? No, you can't have nothing. I said, this is the only time you're going to ever see me. And we're having a conversation and that's it. I said, he's talking about, well, I want to do a podcast with you. I said, that's not going to happen. I said, you can do your own podcast. Let me tell you the name of a application that you can use that's really great. Well, he didn't want to hear that. He's telling me all about how he's been in prison 3 times now. This man's 29 years old now. Been in prison 5 times. 3 times. He did 5 years. This is all in like a short conversation. And he's telling me how he's a man and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so that's just a straight turnoff anyway. So I wouldn't have been interested in him anyway. Not because he went to jail. It's because he didn't have a job. He was slanging dope or weed or whatever he was doing. I'm not interested. And then he tried to diminish the girl that was in the dealership with this baby. He said he had a 3-year-old baby and the girl was just a friend. Well, let me just tell you, he showed me the baby. That was the baby in there with the girlfriend. So he was truly trying to talk to me, but he had a girlfriend. And he's trying to like separate himself from that. And I was just like, dude, I'm thinking to myself, dude, number 1, you're too young. Number 2, you're not stable. Number 3, You saw talking sideways. Number four, no. So he was trying to do whatever he could to get some kind of contact with me. And I'm like, no, I've said no. And then I just got up and I walked away. He says, "You're leaving?" I said, "Yes." And I walked away. Sometimes that's what you got to do. In the past, I would have a hard time with that. I wouldn't know what to do. Um, I would engage the person. I probably would have gave him my email address and he would have hound dogged me, my Instagram, and he would have hound dogged me. I knew that I did not want to have any kind of contact with this young man. I did give him some positive advice about life, but he was talking so weird. It was almost like he was on drugs. And then I looked over and I looked in his hand and it was a blunt. That's what he was smoking, a blunt. So that told me, oh, he's high. That's what his problem is. There's nothing wrong with cannabis. There's nothing wrong with medicinal cannabis. But this guy was not on medicinal cannabis. And he even said that he sold weed. I told him, I said, "You don't know who I am. And you're telling me you sell drugs. You sell weed." I shouldn't say drugs, sell weed. I said, that's not legal here. And so, you shouldn't tell people that because that could make you end up having a fourth stint in prison, So, anyway, so one thing I wanted to read, and I need to go back to my Google. I wanted to read something that I looked up on Google, and I wanted to read something, and I'm going to put it in now. So I have a couple of things I want to read to you. So, all right. So there's a website here. I'm just clicking on this, and it talks about how to tell someone you're not interested. 67 examples. That's really funny to me. There are 67 examples of how how to tell someone you're not interested. It's funny to me. But I do want to read something that I have here on my Google Keep. I don't know if you guys ever use Google Keep, but when I tell you it's one of the best noting systems that you can use on Google. So if you're not using Google Keep, and also Copilot, which is an AI generator. I love Copilot. You would love it. It's on Microsoft 365 and I love it. So I want to read with you, first of all, what I have here in my Google Keep. So I'm going to read that first. So when rejecting someone interested in you in real life, it's important to be direct, respectful, and clear about your intentions while acknowledging their feelings. Usually by expressing that you appreciate the interest. And I did tell him that I appreciate that he's interested, but I'm not romantically inclined towards him. And then he tried to tell me, "Oh, I wasn't trying to talk to you or date you. I just wanted to be your friend." And I knew that he was contradicting himself because kept saying age ain't nothing but a number. But then when I told him no, he tried to come with a different approach. And so it's best to be honest and avoid leading them on. I will say that in the past, I have led people on because I didn't know what to say or how to say it. But I made sure in the first 30 to 60 seconds of that conversation that I was not interested. But it's important that while, you do that, you let them know, you be honest and avoid leading them on while maintaining a polite and understanding demeanor. So, key point to remember when rejecting somebody: be upfront. Clearly state that you're not interested in pursuing a romantic relationship with them. Be kind. Even if you're not interested, acknowledge their feelings, express appreciation for their interests. Avoid, do not leave room for misinterpretation. I've done that so many times. You guys have no idea how many times I've done that. How many of you guys have done that where you didn't want to hurt the person's feelings and you didn't really say no, but you wasn't interested? You would hint around, but and gave them miscommunication. Be firm in your decisions. Keep it brief. just be honest, in your message. Respect, these are your boundaries. Give them your boundaries. If they continue to express interest after you've rejected politely, be firm and reiterate your stance, which is what I did yesterday. So reiterating your stance, so they know, because sometimes people will try you over and over, and how Urkel used to tell Laura on Family Matters, I'm gonna wear you down, baby. I'm gonna wear you down. Well, guess what? That's what this young man tried to do with me, is wear me down. But let me just tell you, you're not going to wear me down. I'm not having it. I'm not doing it. I refuse to allow you to infiltrate when I tell you that I'm not interested. But it's funny because they will try you. You're not going to wear me down. I'm checking out my podcast on Facebook. I'm so happy everything is working, you guys. So it's very important that you let them know. You let them know right away. Hey, I'm not doing this. We're not doing this. I'm not interested. And if they continue, that's when you just kindly you walk away. You know? And so but it can be difficult because some people are very persistent. They want what they want when they want it, and they're going to do whatever they can do to get it. So you have to say, you know what? I'm walking away from this person. I am not going to continue to let this person um just keep trying to wear me down. So ghosting. I have done this many times on dating sites as well as in person. You kind of said, well, I'll be back, and then you never come back. That is not nice, because I know I've been ghosted in my life where I was interested in somebody and I wish they would have just told me. Because when you flip it on the other side of the coin, if you're the person being rejected, because you got to look at it your perspective. So you got to look at it and go, dang, so I've been rejected. I've been ghosted. I mean, I don't know how many you guys have, but I have been ghosted many times. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I haven't dated, is because, you get in there, you start dating somebody, and then all of a sudden they disappear. I don't got time for that. So when you're ghosted without an explanation, it can be hurtful and disrespectful. So I don't want a person to feel the way I felt when I was ghosted and no explanation. Just tell me. Please tell me you're not interested and let me move on. Avoid vague reasons why, be courteous, but don't, oh, I'm just not dating right now. Don't leave any room for misinterpretation, is what I'm basically saying. So I want somebody to tell me, what do if you have to leave it after this live stream, come back and tell me, have you been ghosted before? And how do you feel about, when somebody's interested in you, what do you do in that case? Because for me, it's, I'm just too grown to be ghosting people, to make people feel bad, because I know how I feel to be ghosted. So I'm looking at this, it's called lovestrategies.com, and it's the 7 little love steps to attracting him. But that's not, oh no, here it is. How to tell someone you're not interested without hurting their feelings. So we were just talking about ghosting, right? So should I ghost him instead of saving myself the trouble? Heck no, don't ghost anybody. Don't do that. That's not right. Ghosting sucks. And that's the cowardly way out. Man, there's so many people that they said that have been ghosted. They say 78% of people on Plenty of Fish, talk about being ghosted and how it makes them feel. So ghosting might seem like the best way to signal to someone you're no longer interested, but there's a better way to break the news to them. Just tell them straight out. It's hurtful to not tell somebody how you feel. Don't drag it out all long. It's unnecessary. Just pull the band-aid off. So the next one, it talks about, should you text him, call him, or do it in person? This is going to be interesting. So if you've been on less than 3 dates, it's acceptable to tell him you're not interested by text. You don't owe the guy or the girl anything. I didn't know that. So I probably would have just called him and told him, and not text him. If you've been on 3 to 5 dates, I didn't know this was a thing. Texting is not okay here. If you don't want to do it in person, pick up the phone and call them. But it's preferably just to let the person know at the end of the date if you're not interested. I have done that in the past. I went on a date with somebody, and then I let him know. I was like, I don't think we're compatible. And he's like, yeah, I agree. So I appreciate the date, but I'm not interested in dating you. And I think we went on one date and that was it. And we did it in person and it wasn't bad. If you've been dating more than 5 dates, it's important that you tell him or her you're not interested face to face. This is the grown, respectful, responsible, and kind thing to do when you spend this much time with somebody. I completely agree. Because if somebody was dating me and we've been on 5 dates, and then all of a sudden you ghost me or you text me and tell me that you're not interested anymore, there's no closure there. There's no closure. It's like you just step on my heart because I liked you. If I'm going on 5 dates or more with you, I like you. And so for you to text me and tell me you're not interested or call me and tell me, I would prefer you to tell me in person. And it's cowardly if you don't do that. I completely agree with that. But there is an exception. As a woman, if the guy is giving me red flags at the 5th or more date, and I feel nervous or scared or afraid or anxiety, and I don't want to meet him in person because of that fear of my, physical or a argument or combativeness, it is okay to call that person and then block them. So if a guy in question has scared you, sent you a whole bunch, a barrage of texts confessing his love to you and told you a story about how he wants to murder his ex-wife or has started stalking you, it is acceptable to ghost. Get away from him ASAP. You don't even have to call him and tell him that you're not interested anymore. Just block him and move on. Get rid of him. Block him on every avenue that you can. So there are exceptions. So it's funny because there's so many things here that it talks about. So I'm going to tell you guys, you can go over to Love Strategies, how to tell someone you're not interested. They talk about how to tell a guy or girl you are not interested over text, examples of how to tell someone you're not interested over text, how to tell someone you're not interested in person. Before you tell him, think about why you're not interested. So I'm going to talk about that because I think that's important, that you get your communication together. Put your big girl panties on. Put your big boy boxers on. But think about why you're not interested in that person. Don't just roll up on this person and blurt out in large a whole bunch of stuff that you don't think there's a spark between you without giving a real thought. Because when you're telling someone you're not interested in person, there will be undoubtedly questions, which is why people ghost, because they don't want to have the accountability to answer questions. Did his breath stink? That is one, y'all. Oh my God, that has happened to me over and over again. And in my younger years, I admitted I would ghost him because if your breath is funky, I hate to tell you, your breath stink. I felt so rude. I felt rude. I didn't want to tell them that their breath was funky. Hey, Natasha, welcome, girlfriend. Do you want to come up on the podcast? You can if you want to, girl. So anyway, baby, the breath was kicking. There's been many of them. The breath is kicking, and they want to kiss you. Oh, no. No, 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 no. No. So, whew, I will admit, I'm right here with y'all right now. I'm admitting to y'all that I have ghosted several dudes, or I avoided them as much as I could. And I will have to say there's a few of them that were my classmates, and they might be on my Facebook page right now. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to say no names, but there is a thing called chlorophyll. I use it every day, and it's really great for halitosis. It's really great to detoxify your body and to help you with smells and, because I have a very sensitive nose. And because of my brain disorder, I, girlfriend, boyfriend, I just cannot deal with smells. People who have, BO, oof, oof. I have ghost people with smelly smells. I'm sorry, because I have a brain disorder, which makes my sensories overloaded. And many a days I done ghosted you, but now I'm not even dating right now. I think, I've gone on one coffee date, well, two coffee dates with the same person in 6 months. And he was gone to Greece for 6 months. I met him and then he left. He came back. And I realized that I liked the idea of him. But once he came back and we had another coffee date, I'm not interested in him in romantically. And I told him that I wanted to be friends, that I wasn't interested in him. But I like him. If he asked me to go hang out with him, I would love to. He even tried to kiss me and I turned my head away. I said, no kissy kissy. And he kissed me on the cheek. I'm not interested in him in that way. But I would love to be his friend. I think he's a really great person. And maybe somewhere down the line, my thought process will change. But currently, he makes me feel comfortable enough where I, have a good conversation. Maybe it's me, maybe it's taking some time because I haven't been in a relationship in like 15 years, almost 16. And I haven't dated outside of him. I hadn't dated in over a year and a half, 2 years. So before him, I hadn't been on a date. And, I think I've been on 5 or 6 dates in 7 years. So that should tell you something about me, a lot. So I have a lot of awkwardness when it comes to dating and social and men and things like that. So I'm over I'm over the ghetto men. I'm sorry. I'm over that. Um, don't approach men, please don't approach me if you don't have a stable job. I didn't say what kind of job, but stable. That your clothes are decent and your pants are not hanging below your butt. Wearing house shoes, slides with socks in public, joggers that are hanging down low. Your face is not clean, your hair is not combed, and you look like you got straight out of the bed, and then you got the nerve to approach me. That says something about you. I will say that you're a very bold person, and I give you that. But as far as like getting somewhere with that, the 20 something year old me would have engaged you just because I didn't want to hurt your feelings, or I would have ghosted you. But the 54-year-old me is like, heck no, I'm not interested. Thank you, but no thank you. So when it talks about when you're not interested, be straightforward, for real. Stop beating around the bush. Stop being vague. Just be straightforward. Tell them, you know, the young man, when I started telling him I wasn't interested, he started, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm like, look, I'm trying to cut the chase. I'm trying to cut the rambling. I'm trying to cut all this off. Stop wasting your time. But you're cutting me off, and I'm telling you right now, there's nothing that you can say, young man, that is going to change my mind. That's what I told him. There's nothing that you're going to do to change my mind. You're looking for a sugar mama. You're looking for some, you just got out of jail. You don't even have a job. I said, oh, so are you here to get your car service? He tried to change the subject. I said, are you here to get your car service? Oh, no, my friend is. You know, she's not my girlfriend. She's my friend. That he volunteered that. I don't care. That's your business. The next thing you got to do is be honest. Be honest up front. Be specific. Just be specific. Be kind. Do not offer a friendship as an alternative. This dude was trying to, he said, well, can I get your Instagram? No. Dang, can I get your Facebook? No. Well, you say you do a podcast. Can I get your YouTube? No. Can I get your email? I said no. You can't get none of my communication at all, period. So stop asking me. Unacceptable behavior. No. So it could be very tempting to tell somebody you're not interested, but you want a friendship as a consolation prize. I'm telling you, if they bugging you now, they're going to keep bugging you. They're going to stalk you. They're going to be all on you. They're going to try. I'm going to wear you down. Just like Urkel, I'm going to wear you down. And no. Pulling out the friend card is a no. No. So they trying whatever they can. And it's like, I'm not interested in you. You know? Here's how to tell someone you're not interested in dating them anymore. Be honest, be specific, and throw general, you can throw genuine compliments to them. I'm not doing all that either. You know what I mean? I'm not ready for a relationship. I told the young man that I'm not ready. I'm not interested. You know what I mean? So end it on a high note. This is what it says. Make sure you both are on the same page at the end of your conversation. Wish him well, which I did, finding whatever you're looking for. I told the young man, I said, I wish you well on your podcast, on your nonprofit that you're working on. He was trying to say whatever and do whatever to entice me, and none of that was enticing. So in conclusion, back in the day when I was dating, every time I was upfront with a man about not feeling connected or thinking it was the right fit, I always got a positive response. So it wasn't the guy who was the problem. It was me internally. I felt bad. I had a conscience. I felt like I was letting them down and I was letting myself down. I felt like, I felt guilty for some reason. I felt bad. And, that's doormat behavior. Doormat behavior. Sometimes we lay down and we'll just accept the consolation prize and, give them what they want because we're afraid to hurt their feelings. And it's more important that you can be able to speak your mind and communicate and stand up and say, you know what, I'm not interested in you. Thank you very much. But I think you're a great person, but I don't think we're a good match. That's okay. So, just being honest. But the moral of the story is, it's pretty simple to tell someone you're not interested in seeing them at all or anymore. So don't ghost. I know it sounds like a commercial, but it'll be okay. If you prefer it when a guy lets you know that he's not interested in pursuing things further, you should do the same thing for the next person. If that person is honest enough to come to you and tell you that they're not interested, you should be the same. There was a guy that I was interested when I first moved to Florida. We hung out, we had fun. He was like, I hadn't dated in a long time. And then like 7.5, 8 years or so. And I started dating him. He took me around Florida. He was vegan. He was a raw vegan. So I really appreciate that because I was allergic to meat. He took me to all the vegan spots. He took me to, he knew I liked flea markets. He took me to flea markets and thrift stores. But he was not right. He would ghost me. He ghosted me several times, saying he's going to meet me at a certain time. Either he would show up late or he wouldn't show up at all, and always had an excuse. And I told him, I said, we are casually dating, and you got to be honest and tell me if you're dating somebody else, let me know. I don't care. We're not in a committed relationship, but be honest with me. He could not be honest, and I stopped talking to him. And then come to find out, he had a fiance, a whole fiance. So his whole moral was to see what and he told me this, to see what he can do and who would be interested and what he could get from you on a dating site, even though he had a fiance. So just know that he'd never got married, and she probably found out about other women that he was dating. So don't be like that person. Don't be a ghoster, because it does not feel good. So because I know how it feels to be ghosted, I will never ghost anybody. I will just let you know, hey, I'm not interested, and moving on. So this is my early podcast that I'm doing over here. I was checking all of my equipment, making sure that my sound worked, make sure everything was good. So the live stream podcasts are going to be more on Wednesdays. So I'm going to start Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to start interviewing people very soon. It's going to be a live podcast where all you're going to do is we're just going to talk and chat. And then Sundays, I'm just going to upload on Sundays at 6 p.m. I will have scheduled uploads every Sunday, but soon enough, I wanted to make sure I got this live stream down, because it's going to really depend on my guest on what day that they can attend, but it's only going to be like about 30 minutes to an hour, and we are going to have questions for them. We're going to talk through some things for them. So I am starting to schedule people. So if you're interested in being on the podcast, please let me know. You can reach out to me under this video, under any video I have. You can message me on Facebook. You can message me anywhere and let me know that you're interested in being a part of the podcast. I am looking for a couple of hosts to be a part of this podcast, because it's a whole bunch better when you have other people that can put their own opinion and opinion on stuff, and you have somebody that you can kind of bounce discussions off of. So I am looking for a hostesses, but I right now, the general consensus is we're going to continue to keep talking about daily doses of real conversations with motivation, encouragement, and what we have learned out of these situations. This is not all about woe is me and what I'm going through. We want to talk through things that we've been through and how we found solutions, and so that we can lift and encourage people, give you answers and encouragement on the things that you're going through in life. So this live stream will be broadcast on Facebook, Michelle Bradford, or Real Conversation, Real Motivation podcast on my profile, my professional profile. Also on YouTube, it's going to be on my Holistic Motivator, Michelle Bradford, the Holistic Motivator live stream, until I can get my Real Conversation, Real Motivation podcast YouTube updated. So I will be downloading videos there until I can go live. And then also on Twitch, I have never used Twitch, but I'm live on Twitch right now. So, hey, Twitch, hey, everybody on Twitch. I hope there are people that are liking this on Twitch, because I'm also live on Twitch and on Instagram. So I finally figured out how to go live on Instagram. So I'm hoping I'm going to check it out when I get off here to make sure I did go live. Everything's good over there. And then eventually, once I get enough people on TikTok, I will be going live on TikTok as well. So we're going to be going live, and I'm actually have a actual app that I'm using. It's spelled EVMUX, and they do have a free profile, but I am paying for mine. I'm doing the $25 one a month payment, and you can record, you can download, you can go live on multiple platforms. And also, I will be eventually adding my podcast to Spotify, Pandora, and Apple Music. And I will be using that platform, but I'm waiting to do those once I get some more, things under my belt. But I just want to say thank you to every single person that has come here, that is supporting me. I'm just getting off the ground. I may have one or two people here, but I want you guys to know that I appreciate you, and I hope that you have an amazing, wonderful rest of your day. God bless you. God keep you. And I will be back I will have the podcast posted tomorrow, and I will be back on here again live. I don't know what day. I'll just pick a day when I feel like going live, but I want to do one live stream a week and one downloaded podcast a week. And That's it. So we're going to keep it moving. God said be consistent. So I am being consistent. God bless you. God keep you. And I hope that you have an amazing day. Take care.